Hey folks, Jimmy here, aka Pallet of the Dead. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to the latest issue of Warhammer Age of Sigmar Stormbringer magazine. Now, as per usual with all these videos, if you like them, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and of course, drop us a comment down below. I love hearing back from you guys and it goes a massive way to helping out the channel too. Now, this week, we're on issue 12 of Stormbringer magazine, and we have a nice jumbo-sized sprue of plastic for us, and a nice pretty large base as well. Really good stuff. This is the Stormstrike Chariot for Stormcast Eternals. With this, it's led by two Griff Chargers. There are two options for building it. You can build one of the Stormcast with a bow, or you can have a spear. Yeah, entirely up to you, but both really cool, and yeah, quite looking forward to getting going with this. Obviously, because there is the options to build one of two variations of it, some people will pick up two. I must admit, I've picked up two, but not for that reason. I've picked up one for my Lions of Sigmar, and one for the new paint scheme that I'm painting for this magazine. So, if you are going to pick them up, definitely worth a try, and yeah, really good stuff though. But I'm looking forward to getting going with it. I've never had one before, and I think it'll be quite interesting. Anyway, moving into the issue itself, we're first greeted off by more lore for the Realm Gates. So, Realm Gates are ancient arcane passageways that link the mortal realms. The secrets of what created the Realm Gates, or how they were formed, are long lost. But the value of these portals is immense. Whether a colossal archway through which entire armies may pass, or a small aperture in a forgotten ruin, a Realm Gate allows the user to cross vast distances in mere moments. For a general, this is invaluable, as it can allow them to outflank an enemy through a hidden passage, or reinforce armies with fresh troops mustered half the cosmos away. To control the Realm Gates is to control the mortal realms themselves. So, Realm Gates, the best way I can think of it is kind of like from the film and TV series of Stargate. So these vast kind of gateways, these portals that are open up pretty much all the time though with these, and it allows anything to pass through. Now, there are many different versions of the Realm Gates, and we'll go into that in a minute, but of course, obviously controlling them is vitally important. So there was obviously the Realm Gate Wars, which, if you're new to the Age of Sigmar, Realm Gate Wars was all the story from the first edition, quite a few years ago now, where they first introduced the Age of Sigmar game and the Stormcast Eternals, and it was all about the Stormcast Eternals returning to the mortal realms and liberating them from the forces of chaos, and their control and seizure of very strategically important Realm Gates, where they can kind of do what they want with, and including things like Hammerhall Akshi, because that is bordered on a Realm Gate, with the other side of a Realm Gate being Hammerhall Gairan. So that's how they work. So you can flip between the two, and yeah, in mere moments. So pretty decent stuff. Talking of all the different types, there are different ones. So there are the Whirlways. So the Whirlways are underwater realm gates that are found in the deepest oceans. They are used by ocean-dwelling elves to travel unseen between their hidden enclaves. There are the Descent from Azir. So Stormcast Eternals can cross vast distances between Azir and the other realms by riding bolts of lightning. This allows them to strike where least expected by the foe. Now, with the Descent from Azir, the way it works is from the realm of Heavens, Azir, where Sigmar's Stormcast Eternals are created on the Anvil of Apotheosis. They can be channeled through the lightning into another realm. However, they cannot travel straight back to Azir that way, willingly, unless they are killed, and most of the souls will get transported up that way, and they could not travel to other realms utilising that same method. They have to go through the regular good old rail gates. There are Gnaw Holes. So Gnaw Holes are artificial portals formed by the Skaven and their arcane science. They allow for travel between realms but are incredibly unstable and dangerous to those who use them because, you know, the Skaven are absolutely bonkers and have a habit for making things that blow up in their own face. And then there are the tears in reality. So the demons of chaos can strike anywhere in the mortal realms. They can tear through the fabric of reality itself using rifts that lead to the nightmarish realm of chaos. Now, the realm of chaos is something that we may or may not hear that much about in this magazine, and with good reason, because we're not linked into that one yet. So it is what it is, but really, really good stuff. Then we move on, we get more information for the Crawl Boys. So all Crawl Boys are thieves and scavengers. Their society relies on a constant supply of loot torn from the remains of their victims and turned to wicked new purposes. So, the Crawl Boys are greedy creatures whose society is built on scavenged and stolen goods. To a Crawl Boy, the height of cunning is to let someone else build something and then take it from them. Upon conquering the enemy, the Crawl Boys strip the dead of their weapons, armour and valuables, and then they fashion this into gear for their own use. So, it's a way of recycling in a lot weird way about it, and yeah, but they do a lot of killing to lead up to that. So, all the Stormcast Eternals and their equipment transform into lightning upon death, to the disappointment of the Crawl Boys that try to steal them. However, Crawl Boys seek out Stormcast Eternals in order to prey on the mortals they protect. Sigmar's warriors are often march as guards for loot-laden caravans intended to supply the fledgling cities of Sigmar. So, yeah, Crawl Boys do like to attack the Stormcast because there's a chance of loot at the end of it, so, you know, it is what it is with them. Moving on, we get information about the Bane of Civilization. So the Crawl Boys, and indeed all the Aurochs, Grots, Ogres and Gargants who follow the path of destruction, are a bane to civilization. They live to smash and lay low all they encounter, and they see works of art or science as an example of weakness, because, you know, dumb brutishness, I think, with that. And, you know, they do have a wicked ingenuity, especially for the Crawl Boys, so they are masters of turning stolen scrap into deadly weapons, and they have a wicked intellect dedicated solely to cruelty and malice as well. So they do, you like to use their noggin to, be a bit of a pain in the backside for everybody else. So, pretty cool and pretty different as well, and a nice bit of information about the Crawl Boys as well. Then we move on, we get information about the Stormcast Eternal Stormstrike Chariots, so obviously your regular page. These are from the Angelos conclaves, so every Stormcast Eternal is part of a different conclave, and each conclave has its own distinct tactics for waging war. Stormstrike Chariots are part of the Angelos conclaves, whose symbol is a twin-tailed comet. All warriors use speed as a weapon from these conclaves as well, so they're used as scouts, they're used as fast attack and stuff like that. So, you know, pretty decent stuff, and a little bit of information there for you for them. But otherwise, as per usual, you can give them their name, you can give them their traits and much more, as per usual, which is the good thing with this magazine, because it does add to your game. And then we have our how to build kit. So with this, it is definitely worth doing sub-assemblies, so paint your chariot before you attach the griff chargers, because otherwise it's going to be a bit of a pain in the ass to paint. Majority of this should all be push fit as well, so you don't necessarily need to glue anything. I personally, on some things that are push fit, I do glue them because sometimes it's not quite right and it's a bit too loose, and I just don't want things popping off, which is sometimes what happens. But otherwise, yeah, fairly straightforward to put together. You're not going to go wrong. If you're painting your good old griff chargers, your Stormcast Eternals separately from the chariot, and then the chariot itself, before you base it all and start putting it all together, it'll look absolutely brilliant, and I'm sure you'll do great with it. But yeah, really good stuff. And when you're done with it, it'll look something like that, unless you've chosen the spear, where obviously it'll be a Stormcast using the spear instead of a bow. So, yeah, happy days. Then we've got our paint guide. Our paint guide generally it's easy. You're not going to go wrong with it. It's a fairly simple doddle. Paint it up how you want to paint it. So if you want it bright pink, paint it bright pink. The idea is though to obviously fit it in with your army. So if you're painting things like griff chargers, you can do them many different colours. I'm not going to lie, lighter coloured griff chargers look really nice. So it might be worth doing that, or you could go grey, or you can go black. It's entirely up to you. But either way, have fun painting it, and I'm sure you'll do absolutely spectacular with it. But otherwise, there's a lot of trim on there as well, so it might take a little while to paint, but it'll be really good fun for you to do. So have fun with that one. Once it's all done though, you'll have something like that if you're following the magazine. Generally very simple. Yeah, it's a simple paint scheme for that kind of one, but that's if you've been doing that scheme. So, no, it is what it is. Then we move on. We get a playthrough obviously for this week as well. So as per usual, with this playthrough we're using our Lord Imperatant and Griffhound and Knight Arcanum and the Stormsight Chariot, going up against the Killer Boss and Stabgrot, Swamp Caller Shaman and Potgrot, 10 Gut Rippers, 10 Hobgrot Slitters, and the Beast Skewer Killbow. So, a vastly different way of playing, because you've got a massive army of good old 25 units going up against 4. So, yeah, it is what it is, but really good stuff. It's going to be quite good fun. You get obviously your War Scrolls. These are obviously not the full War Scrolls, these are just your general simple War Scrolls. And if you need the full ones, you can get them in the Stormcast Eternals book and Battle Tome if you need to. But otherwise, fairly straightforward. I'm sure you're going to have fun playing it. And yeah, be some interesting results with that one, so it's not bad. Moving on though, next week we get a paint issue. Nothing to write home about. Mephiston Red and Wraithbone. Wraithbone's very good pale colour, really good for painting skulls and kind of like bone bits and pieces and stuff like that, and painting rocks with them as well can look really nice when you cover it with Agarax Earthshade or Seraphim Sepia or something like that. Yeah, pretty good. Mephiston Red, a nice fairly brightish colour of red, very nicely done with kind of adding to your corn red and stuff like that. It makes it stand out, so pretty good stuff there as well. Issue 14, we get Man-Skewer Bolt Boys. So obviously very different from the Beast Skewer Killbow that we had not long ago. The Man-Skewer Bolt Boys are kind of crossbow wielding Oryx, which is quite unusual because they don't use a massive amount of range for good old Oryx, and you get 3 of them, so pretty cool stuff. And another one where if you're going to go for a big good old War style army and a big massive Cruel Boys army, get yourself a couple of issues, because you can have quite a few then, and you can have a bit more, so you have more firepower in your arsenal and therefore deal more range damage, so why not? Otherwise, thank you very much for watching. If you can tell, I've been a bit ill. I've got a bit of a cold at the moment, so I'm a bit sniffly. So yeah, so if it sounds a bit crap, it's because yeah, it is what it is. But anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye now.